Yeah, well, I mean, good thing your Steelers finally put an OSU quarterback now. You finally get to go.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, who are the Falcons playing this week? Who the Falcons got next week?
I don't need
Who's their
to-
quarterback?
Shut
They got
up.
Matt Ryan still?
Yeah. Hey, and welcome back to episode number two. Does that make us a fad, or does that make us?
That means we're on. That's a streak, is what they call that.
We bona
It's 2 in a row.
So 2 in a row. Hell, that's better than the Cubs in the
Yeah.
first part of the season. Isn't it? But anyway, hey, welcome back. We're glad you come back and see us. Got a few followers out there. Appreciate you guys coming on board. Tell your family, tell your friends, get everybody on board with us. We enjoy doing this. We had a good time. Got a lot of stuff going on this past week, but. Number one, welcome back, and thank you for coming back in. What do you want to start? You notice we kind of changed. It's just cold outside.
Yeah, it's cold.
Cold.
It's crazy cold.
That's crazy. I mean, here in Oklahoma, we usually get a blast once or twice a year, and we got our blast right here. We had to move it indoors inside the house, which I swore we weren't going to do. We were going to tough it out, but if
it's negative 14.
Well, if Buffalo can't go out, we can't have play. We don't have to go outside either.
Snow.
So
there you go.
We could have went outside.
Can't play football in the snow.
Well, we could have played in the snow. We could go out there and do this.
I offered to go without my shirt on, but nobody wants to do that.
That'd be awesome. Oh well, wait a minute. Welcome back. Hey, what are you thinking, Chuck? What's going on?
Well, I might as well just take it on the chin right away. And my prediction of Washington winning the national championship worked out really well.
Yeah, well, somebody in this podcast said Michigan. Hang on.
My thought that Michigan hadn't seen an offense like Penix before was, it wasn't exactly a lie.
Well, he didn't. He was brutal. It was like he was scared.
The moment was too big.
Well, but the offense, they lost the line, man. They lost at the line, both sides, and it was just. It was crazy.
It was bad.
The score. Of course, the score got out of hand at the very end, and it's not exactly. I think a good. Say how the game was. They got.
I don't know. They got dominated.
They got dominated.
They hung around luckily early in that first half, but they just got dominated.
Yeah, it was tough, man.
I
Michigan.
Still don't think it was as close as the score showed, but
No. Michigan was. Man, they were just good.
They're good.
They are really, really good.
I knew they were good, but man, they just.
Yeah, the other question is how many they're going to lose. How many guys are going to drop? How many are going to go away?
Depends if Harbaugh leaves.
Think he'll leave?
It's the word.
Well,
now's the time. He's won his championship.
Well, we'll get to the coaching openings here in a minute, but Saban's gone.
Saban's gone.
I saw the quote Reggie Bush put out there about him just not being able to keep up with what's going on, and there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that. He's just, he's one of the old style coaches he'd recruit a bunch of kids and say, "You'll play when I tell you to play."
Right.
And
you're coming to Alabama. You're going to be on TV, and here, just tough it out, sit down for a couple of years, and you'll get to play later on.
Well, now that ain't the way it goes.
They don't got to do that anymore.
No, these kids they can get up and leave whenever they want, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't.
You can't recruit on just the name anymore. Yeah, it helps, but you can't just recruit on you're going to go play at Alabama now.
No, and he's gonna he's gonna lose kids like everybody else. Everybody else is. Yeah. My God, did you see this? Did you see the rosters that Georgia and Florida State played with in the bowl game?
Oh yeah,
my God, they had like 20, 30 guys each.
Between declaring and the Portland and Alabama's already losing some of their guys. I don't know if Milroe declared yet or not, but there was talk about he's.
Well, do you think? I got to thinking about this. I haven't asked you this yet. Do you think if they move the day that you can declare after the bowl games, do you think it would matter?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
They'll still sit out for health reasons.
Well, sure.
For those who are juniors or hell, even sophomores, juniors, seniors, whatever, they're going to say they're going to go try, get ready for the combines, get ready to make the decisions. Look at, a couple of them have declared, I'm going to go see what I can do, and then boom, we're coming back. Because we can't really see anything out there.
Well, there's nothing out there that was any better for them. A lot of these kids want to leave, of course, to go play, and I get that. That's fine. You go to college, so you can play, so you can be seen. We know that there's a very small percentage that actually go pro.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think you've got that kind of talent, and you believe your press that you're getting, and you're just that good. I mean, yeah.
Why play in a bowl game that means
I mean,
nothing?
you're not Caleb Williams, who can pretty much
When you own part of the franchise already.
tell the NFL how to draft. Did you see that?
Oh my God!
Did you
I
see
tell
that?
you what, for those.
I mean, it worked for John Elway.
I was gonna say for those back in our day, John Elway did the same thing, but he had baseball to fall back on. He was going to go play.
I don't know if some of you may not have heard this, but go ahead and tell them what you saw.
Oh my goodness! I guess Caleb Williams now has come out and said that not only did he put it out there before that I want part ownership, I want part of this, and this. Now he's coming out and saying I'm not going to declare unless I can make sure I'm not going to get drafted by the Bears. I want to be drafted by the Commanders. At what point? At what point do you say, okay, yeah, he could be a generational quarterback? He could be great.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
But until he proves something, I mean, we saw him here at Oklahoma, and we've watched him for 2 years under Riley's offense, right. And yes, the guy's good, but he's still yet to win anything.
Well, sure. I mean, but and exactly. I mean, it puts it in that perspective of he comes across to me as a head case like Johnny Manziel. Or if you go out there and you draft and you put a number 1 pick on him, like they did with Manziel, and he goes in there and he keeps saying this, I want to own the team,
yeah,
I want to be part of the franchise. Is he going to? Is the head case worth the number 1 pick? Right. Is he that good of a quarterback?
And that's it. He could be.
Who knows? But is he that good that you want to use a pick and then he get all wacky and start doing weird crap, which he's capable of? I mean, listen to him.
But my thought is, okay, I don't know what the reasoning is behind not wanting to go to play for the Bears, but the Commanders.
Yep.
What is it that's jumping out about playing for Washington that's going to make you say, yeah, I want to go do that?
I don't know, unless somebody's talking to him about more money. I don't know. Or the Bears. The Bears have got a starting quarterback.
The Bears got Fields, and they've been talking about moving away from him.
Sure, but every year at the end of the season, the teams that don't win talk about moving away from him.
Fields isn't that bad of a quarterback.
No,
he's got no line help.
Well, if the Bears as a team were ready to okay, I got a couple of dogs that are arguing in the back. Just let it go. I've got a couple of I think Fields is worth keeping over. But be that as it may, if I'm the Bears, I say no. We're not going to guarantee you we're going to trade it. We're not trading the number 1 pick.
No,
we're not doing it because we may not want to pick you.
Right.
So why would we trade the number 1 pick? Do you automatically think that are you that narcissistic to think that you're going to be the number 1 pick if we keep our number 1 pick?
Yeah, there's been some ones out there that if you got a quarterback, who's to say they don't take Marvin Harrison, who I think is going to be. If you're talking generation,
oh my God,
he's going to be a stud.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's.
Why not give that weapon to Justin? If the guy's not going to play for you, don't draft him.
No,
the hell with him.
And then don't tell me you're not going to try. I'm not trading. Who are you?
Yeah, no, you don't get to make that decision.
Hey, it's just
let it go. Draft Marvin Harrison. Go on and try to build around Fields. Now, if not, there's other quarterbacks out there. But you're putting all your stake into a guy who's yet to play it down in the pros. And is yet to win anything in college.
Well, what if the Bears bring in Bill Belichick? I had to do it.
He's going to bring Brady with him.
That's
the only way he wins.
Exactly. You bring all the coaches that got fired from the NFL because
he didn't get fired.
I rail on it all the time. I'm sorry if it's hopefully we'll be on episode 155, and I'm sorry if I'm still railing on it, but there's only so much a head coach can do. You got to have the talent to play with them. And will anybody take a shot at Belichick?
Not at 72. Why would you do it in today's game?
Nothing
against the guy,
no,
but
he doesn't.
His style look at Saban. Same thing. Their style of coaching.
Right.
It goes away after a while. The X's and O's and the way you do it, and you can still reach out and be.
Sure.
A player's coach, but
and that's why Alabama went and got
DeBoer.
Yeah, DeBoer. Good hire.
Why not get him? Yeah.
Good hire. You give him. The kids that he had aren't Alabama level type kids.
See, that's going to be the thing is. You're talking about a culture change because he's only coached up north. He's only coached Washington and before that, the Dakotas and all that.
Well, but you're putting OU and Texas in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So don't you feel? I do. I don't know how you feel. Don't you feel some of these teams in the SEC are going to start kind of moving away from that grind out.
They're going to have to.
3 yards in a cloud of dust, garbage. They're gonna have to do it, and Saban sees it.
Sure.
I think he sees
and
it.
that's another reason why
He's tired.
He's getting out.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Getting out at a good time. I mean,
and look, who was up? Pete Carroll. Carroll's getting out. He's probably going to go to front office, I would assume.
Yeah,
I think he's tired of it too.
Well, they can't. Yeah, he's not going to go anywhere. They're going to pay him whatever
Right.
he wants to keep him around. He's a good morale guy. He's always been a good morale guy. That's one thing about the professional coaches. They are. They're figureheads more than anything. They got their coaches that call the plays and whatnot, but the morale that they can bring to a team is great. And Carroll, I was never a big Pete Carroll fan. I never, but he's
been successful. He's
been
one of the only successful one in college and pros.
He's a winner.
And the one I couldn't understand was Vrabel. I don't understand why they let Vrabel go.
Well, and that blows my mind. I mean,
everything I've heard about the guy,
But did they have the talent that they've had in past years?
No.
No, they don't. I mean, so why do you blame the coach?
It's got to be the coach taking the hit.
The team loves him.
Yeah, everybody does.
And I don't know why they would get rid. If you're going to make a change, why make a change just for the sake of making a change?
You made the change.
Who
are you going to bring in?
Well, where's he going to go?
Right. Oh, he's going to land somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up in Seattle.
And see, that's
somebody's going to get him.
Well, I mean, why would he?
He's a good coach, but he's a defensive coach.
Well, that's true.
That's where,
Well, if you hire it's all about the coordinators. It always is. Who you're going to bring in to call the play.
Yep. And there's always talk about. There was talk this weekend that Tomlin, he's on the last year of his contract. And he's already come out and said,
"Will they cut him loose?"
Not unless he chooses to. They're not going to let him go.
I don't think they can.
It'll be his. That's what he said. He said he's going to step away and he's going to take time after the season's over and see what he feels like.
Well, if they draft some more Oklahoma State guys, maybe they'll.
Well, they probably will
get to the Super Bowl next year. But
they he's 17 years and it's an oddity anymore. But
while we're talking, Dallas and Green Bay are playing back there. By the way, today is January 14th, and it's playoff day. And that's kind of what
Dallas is getting their heads kicked in.
He's got it's the playoffs. Are you shocked?
Come on. I'm not a Cowboy fan by any means, but good.
I'm not either. Never been a Cowboy fan. And I don't understand why they can't win a playoff game.
20-0 first half, so 3 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, I really can't understand why they can't win a playoff game. Yeah. I don't get it.
I really thought they'd get past Green Bay. I really did. I didn't think because Green Bay's not that good.
They're not.
All year. Jordan Love's coming around.
No, Green Bay's not that good at all.
Good
and
night. They can't.
Well, I can't say they're not good. They're great. I mean, they're in the playoffs.
Right.
They played well this year.
But they shouldn't be doing this to Dallas in Dallas.
No, not in Dallas. They're not good enough to do what they're doing. But Dallas, I mean, where are they right now?
It's 20-0. 3 minutes in the first half.
My gosh. Well, can they come back? I don't think they can come back.
Prescott's thrown for 26 yards.
I mean,
and he's in a pick.
20 points down. My gosh, I don't know.
They better do something.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be your typical cowboy failure.
Well, we look at Houston and Cleveland. Houston.
The Flacco story's dead. Thank God. That was.
I liked it. I liked the fact that he came in. Did I get my wonderful little storybook ending for Joe Flacco? No. Will he be there next year? No.
Deshaun's coming back.
But do they still do that?
I don't know.
Golly, do they still do that?
I wouldn't think so, but
I mean to get
that.
I understand that they spent some money on him. I understand that they want a. I don't know, a big name. I guess you can call him a big name.
I don't know if he's even a big name anymore.
It's another run and gun kind of quarterback.
Right.
It's out there in the world.
But they got where they got this year on defense. Defense was so good.
Well, yeah. I mean, but they weren't last night.
No, they got
yesterday. I mean, they got thrown all around yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
And Flacco's age showed a little bit. He can't run. He's not mobile enough.
Well, all the interceptions. I mean, he had so many during the season.
Couple bad interceptions. Yeah, he was on. They did the thing. If he had played the season, he was on pace to throw like 28 interceptions.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I mean, but you haven't played all year. Your accuracy's not. Your accuracy gets there throughout the season. You learn your receivers. You learn your.
Right. It's not like he was on a practice squad.
No,
he was sitting at his house.
Well, it's the timing. The timing was all off. I mean, and that was understandable. Had they got to the playoffs, I mean, they weren't going to get there with where they were quarterback wise.
No.
But every year we say the same thing about Cleveland. They're not going to get there where they are quarterback wise. Every year for 20 years you've been saying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't keep a quarterback, and I think that's why they went on that limb and got Deshaun Watson, hoping that was going to be the savior to it all.
Well, I don't think he's going to last. I don't think he's going to last.
No,
I mean the fans in Cleveland are vicious.
They're not. Yeah,
they're vicious. They don't. I mean, one bad sign starting out next year, and they're going to come. They're going to want somebody. They're not going to want him. They're going.
No. They'll get somebody in the offseason. They'll get another backup. They'll get somebody in the offseason just to be ready for it when he does his Deshaun stuff and
which he will.
And oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, what struck me about him mostly this year is that you'd go every time you'd watch a Cleveland game, he wouldn't be on the sideline. He's not down there with the players.
Right.
He's up in the stands or up in the press box
right.
or. He's never been a team guy.
He's not a team guy. But he wasn't a team guy before. There was always that talk on him.
Well, sure it was, and that's why it was so stunning that everybody was saying, "My gosh, why are they going to go get him?"
Mm-hmm. Hurting that bad for a quarterback.
Which is another reason why I love to see the fact that Mayfield's in the playoffs. They get to play Philadelphia. I mean, we'll see how that goes. But they're playing at home. I mean, Tampa Bay's played pretty well at home. I mean, Mayfield is. He's one of those guys that'll leave everything out.
You never know.
He'll leave everything he's got out there, and
he'll throw for 100 yards and 3 picks, or he'll throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
You don't know what the guy.
He's always done that. Even when he was here in Oklahoma, he did that.
I love watching him.
God, he's fun to watch.
He's going to leave it all out there. He's not going to back down from anything. So.
Can they beat Philadelphia?
It's possible.
I think.
I don't. The way Philly's been playing, I know I had picked them and said I thought they were going to go, but man, they're struggling right now. I don't know what the cause is. I don't know why the downturn all of a sudden.
What shocked me is the last week of the season when they sat people out. They didn't even care if they won.
No.
They were okay with this. What are they sitting fifth seed?
There's
okay at 5, trying not to win. Of course, Dallas won anyway. But it's just it was weird to me to see that they're out of sync. For some reason,
it is. Yeah, I don't know what they've done.
It's odd.
I expected more out of them but here down the stretch, they really struggled.
Yeah.
And then you had the other game, the Dolphins and the Chiefs, negative 57 degrees out there. Oh my God!
I can't believe they kicked as many field goals as they did.
No, I know.
That's hard.
Horrible.
I mean, you're kicking a brick out in that kind of weather, and
But kind of like I figured, though, the Chiefs have been struggling down the stretch, but playoff time, and here we go.
But still, I can't really, say anything bad about Miami. I mean, to go out there and play in that weather, everybody can say, "Well, the Chiefs are used to it." No, they're not. Nobody's used to that mess. I mean, that was so bad. Have they played more cold weather games? Sure. But this is more than cold weather. This is everybody's just as bad as the other guy here, and everybody has the hard football. And everybody has the running issues, and everybody has the cut issues, and everybody has. It's all the same on both ends of the ball. And Miami just didn't look prepared. I mean,
no, they weren't, and they're predicated on just all-out speed. And when you're playing on ice on a skating rink, it's going to limit some of your stuff. And just for y'all's viewing pleasure, Prescott just threw another interception for a touchdown. So.
Wow!
The Cowboy streak stays alive.
They're not going to get out of the first round again. How? I too am not a Cowboy fan. Never have. Growing up here in Oklahoma, it's all Cowboys all the time come NFL time, and I just I'm from the Staubach, Bob Lilly, Jethro Pugh, Walt Garrison, Calvin Hill time, and you still knew all their names up here in Oklahoma, but wow. This is crazy. This is crazy. Same thing, now will Jerry get rid of
McCarthy?
Well,
I hope so. There's nothing more comical than watch a Cowboy down spiral, but Jerry Jones has lost his mind anyway, so he'll do something stupid.
Well, he needs to find another. Head coach that'll let him coach from the booth.
That's why he hired McCarthy, though, because that was his whole deal. I'm going to let him run things. He's going to do things.
Well, of course he does. He's got his little play chart out there. He's doing this during the whole game. He's marking down those plays.
Oh, man.
So, what do they do? I mean, do they give up on Dak? Do they give up on?
No, they're not going to give up on Prescott.
Well,
they won't give up on him, I don't think. They just got, I don't know, they get to the playoffs and they choke. It's a Cowboy thing.
Well, maybe Caleb Williams will be still in the draft by the time the Cowboys
they have to run it by him first. Make sure
they draft 23rd or 24th, so, that
would be ideal.
He'd love to
I would love to see Caleb. I'd love for Williams to go declare and then fall.
I think he will. Well, I don't think Chicago will draft him.
Chicago
He's a head case. I think you go get Harrison. I think it's a hell of a choice.
Chicago won't draft him.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
If you got a guy that's just outright telling you, I'm not going to play for you, then why even give him the benefit?
Well, I think you tell Fields that you lose faith in him if you go get a number one. I think you lose faith in your quarterback if they've got 2 first-round picks, do they not?
Yeah.
And then even if they draft a quarterback in the first round, you're telling Fields you're not any good.
Right. So unless they make a deal for him.
Exactly. But there again.
And if you're Fields, you may want out of that mess.
Well, you just don't.
You just don't get it together.
You just don't make it. You just tell.
So we got the Dallas debacle going on, and Rams Lions are the next game. And really think Detroit's gonna. I like the Detroit story this year.
I do too.
I like Detroit. I love watching them play. I like their coach.
Well, I was always.
They're fun. They're good to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good story this year.
Well, they're good. I've always been a Matthew Stafford fan. I loved him in Detroit. He never had a team. He never had a team behind him.
Right. That's another thing that makes this game so good. You got Stafford versus Goff.
Sure, Stafford.
Swap teams.
A little switcheroo there, and they're playing in Detroit. And I really hope the fans give Stafford, a good welcome. And
They should.
I hope it's just a good game. I mean, what is it? That's tomorrow night, isn't it?
No, yeah, it's tonight.
That was tonight.
That's tonight.
Okay, who's tomorrow?
Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and
that's right. They moved it to Monday.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, it'll be a good game. I think Detroit's better than LA. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, I think the Rams. I don't say got lucky, but they got into the playoffs. They suffered. They've struggled all year.
I still, like I picked last. We talked about it last week, and I still hope Detroit gets to the Super Bowl.
I'd love to see them.
I'd love to see them in the Super Bowl. I really would like to see them go.
I think that'd be a great story.
I still don't want Baltimore to go though.
I don't either.
I don't want to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I really, really don't. They're good. They're good, but they're not exciting in any kind of way.
And being a Steeler fan, Browns are gone. Thankfully, I really don't want the Ravens to. I don't want the Ravens going through either. But I guess got a bad feeling. But then again, the Ravens have been known to choke as well.
Yep.
They're not.
Yep.
The Chiefs. This is the Chiefs' time of year, and I don't want to see the Chiefs go all the way either. But that's going to be.
I know.
Mahomes is Mahomes. Like him, hate him, whatever. The guy does things and makes things happen.
Well, he's going to be good. He's good, and he's always going to be good.
The Texans, the Texans looked awful good.
Well,
Rookie head coach C.J. Stroud's better than I thought he was going to be. I really figured he would struggle at some point.
Closer to you, Mike. I'm not hearing you very well.
Hearing aids not on.
Guys over there trying to talk to me. I can't hear a word he's saying. But no, I mean, they looked really good. They looked well rounded. They were just strong.
Yeah,
So
real strong.
what are you looking at? So I got Frisco. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay wins. So I'm going to go with San Francisco and Tampa Bay, and of course, I guess I'll go Green Bay now against Detroit.
That's a bright pick.
That's a bold move. So Detroit, Green Bay, San Francisco, Tampa Bay. What do you think?
Oh man. So what you're talking about? Just getting to the
quarters or the semis of the NFC.
No.
So Frisco's going to play with Philadelphia or Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Nah, I still think Philadelphia will win. I think they'll pull it out.
Okay.
And of course, I'm with the Lions as well.
Sure. All right, AFC. You got Baltimore going to be playing Houston.
Yeah, that's Baltimore.
Nah, I'm afraid so.
I think
Kansas City gets Pittsburgh or Buffalo. It's still going to be colder than the sun gun up in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, and then like 2 feet of snow.
Well, but then you got
which homer pick I know, but still I don't think Pittsburgh's going to win. But it's going to make it a lot better game if the conditions are horrible.
Well, sure. We saw what it did at Kansas City. Yeah. I mean, it brought everything back down to here. It's all about ball control. But see, the guys in Pittsburgh have played in cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
More than the Miami guys, of course.
Yeah.
And so I think, if it's, I don't think it's supposed to snow. I think it's just supposed to be colder. But they're going to start it at 2:30 in the afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so 2:33 or whatever time it is, and so it's going to be,
that's going to be horrible conditions, and that's what I'm banking on.
Still going to have sunshine, even though it's going to be cold.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh can pull it off. I hope they do.
No, but it's probably going to be Kansas City at Buffalo, and it's going to be Houston at Baltimore. So
I'm looking at Baltimore, Kansas City.
I'm gonna pull for. I'm
hoping for Buffalo.
Come
in that
on, Josh
scenario,
Allen. Come on, Josh. Do it this time.
But I'm wanting either
Get
Buffalo
'em.
or Pittsburgh to get through that. But realistically, Kansas City does this.
I know.
They come alive in playoff
I
time.
know. They always have and always will.
Yeah,
Mahomes is just a different level.
he is.
I mean,
He
he plays great during the season. Boy, we put him in the playoffs. He just, golly,
And they
he's
look
just
good.
incredible.
And they got a running game now, and they can do it on all facets. So
They can. All right, so we got the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Falcons, the Commanders, and the Titans. They need a new coach.
yeah, and the Raiders. I mean, the Antonio Pierce, the guy who's their interim. I don't know why they're not keeping him, but or why they haven't done it yet. And there's been talk about Harbaugh going to the Chargers. So,
Well, he finally won his title.
what's he going to do? What else is he going to do in college?
Well, he cheated a little more.
I mean, it's legal though.
Well,
not cheating.
it's kind of legal.
His guy got busted.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
No, that's true. He didn't know.
He
He
didn't.
didn't know he was cheating and
He didn't know.
giving signals back.
I had no idea, but I'll go ahead and take the fall for it.
And
The buck stops here.
Vrabel's going to land.
Well, yeah, he's going to land in one of these places.
Vrabel's going to land. I would say probably Atlanta or the Commanders.
I think he's going to Atlanta.
Yep.
The way they're talking, which there again, it's all based on talent. Yeah, you're going to get a coach who won in another city, but what kind of talent does he have? Can he win over there? I mean, it's not all about the coach. It's about who the coach has to coach.
And Atlanta struggled on defense. Their offense wasn't grand, but Ritter's a good quarterback. I think they got a little bit of a future going with him.
Atlanta's offense is, they always struggle on one side of the ball. They're never 100%. They're never always there, both sides of the ball. Very often. I mean, I've followed them my whole life, and
and they need a solid coach.
Yes.
And I think Vrabel, just from what I've heard about Vrabel and everything you read, you never really hear anything bad or off-putting about the guy. So
no, and he's a player's coach. He's one of those. He's like a Pete Carroll. We talked about him earlier. He's one of those guys. He's got a good morale guy. The guys like playing for him, which really stuns me that they just cut him loose like that. And
that's why I don't understand.
And didn't bring him in and say, "Hey, listen, we want to go another way. We really." I mean, it's just like
there was no talk. At least I didn't hear it.
I didn't.
Not to say that it was out there.
Well, but hell, in today's internet, it would have been written on there what they told him,
somewhere
specifically what they told him. But I mean. You've got Pete Carroll, Belichick, and Vrabel, all three sitting there. Carroll's not going to coach again. Belichick,
nobody.
I don't think anybody takes him.
He's how many? What was it saying? 14 wins away from the record, or something like that. So if he goes and coaches somewhere, he's going to be strictly for that. He's not going in. He's got his championships. His ego is the only thing that's going to keep him in the coaching world.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
72 years old.
Jerry Jones, baby. Jerry Jones, baby.
Please, if there are football gods out there, please let him go to Dallas.
Jerry Jones.
That would be awesome.
Hire Bill Belichick.
And maybe bring Parcells back in to run the defense.
just bring it all back around. Oh my goodness.
Belichick's he is what he is. One of the best ones ever, I guess, record-wise. But I mean, what was that? I saw that stat. With Brady, he's 249 and 75. Without Brady, he's 84 and 103. That don't tell you what head coaching means in pro football. I mean,
same thing. I mean, while you're at it, check Phil Jackson's record without Michael Jordan. You're going to be amazed at how good of a coach he was without Michael.
When you got one of the best of all time.
Come on now, the
best of all time.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. Well, we got the playoffs. We'll see what's happening coming in next week, and then we will go from there. Hey, did you watch the wrestling this week?
Oh, I tried.
They came out with this big story. It's going to be a huge, since the championship game was on Monday, going to have a huge card on Monday Night Raw. I said, all right, let's go.
Do something different, something exciting.
And boy, oh boy, what a letdown. I mean, the Nakamura thing, he's not a main eventer. Folks.
They keep trying, and
he's not a main eventer. I don't know what they're doing. They don't. It's usually not such a big pause before the Rumble like it is these days. I mean, the past 3 weeks, it's just been the same old.
They haven't built anything.
They're just churning and churning and churning, and then they got the triple threat or the 4-way going on at the Rumble for Roman. Let's talk about that for a second. I think The Rock comes out. Or let me back up. I think you're maybe going to get Jimmy and Solo come out. to try to help Roman.
Right.
I think The Rock comes out, lays the smackdown on the bloodline
You think this is at the Rumble?
at the Rumble.
Okay.
I think I'm about 75% thinking Orton's going to win the Fatal 4-Way at the Rumble.
See, that's what I think.
I think Orton wins it, and I think that's when I think The Rock comes out to jump on the bloodline, and I think Orton walks away with it, and then you go to Backlash. Elimination Chamber, which is in Australia, and they are putting up some big money for The Rock. So I don't know if Roman will travel.
I don't know if he'll travel out there,
but
it may be if he loses at the Rumble, then
they can't. I don't see a way that you can have The Rock wrestle Reigns for the title at WrestleMania.
That can't happen.
If they want him to wrestle at WrestleMania, that's fine.
Yeah, that can't happen.
That's absolutely fine, but he can't go for the title.
No.
He's the part-time situation. He's not. We've already got one of those.
Yeah, and that's it. And I was reading the story. They do think it's his leukemia that it's just not letting him. It's not letting him perform. So my thoughts are he'll lose it at the Rumble. There will be some kind of something that goes down in the chamber between Uso, Sikoa, The Rock. I'm head of the table. Blah blah blah.
See, I didn't think about that. If you've got a 5-man at going for Elimination Chamber for the head of the table, because there's always 5 guys in the chamber.
Right.
So you'd have Jimmy, Jay, Solo, Roman, and The Rock.
Man, I don't think Roman can do a match like that right now.
Well, if you make him the 5th entrant and then it goes for 10 minutes,
depends on how bad he is, how bad off he is. But I don't think they're going to put Reigns and Rock in a ring together till WrestleMania. I don't think they're. I think something. Point. I don't think there's going to be a chamber match. I think there's going to be something that's going to go down once Reigns loses. There's going to be something that goes down with Sikoa and Uso, because I really think.
Well, Jimmy's getting really, really, really brazen every week. He's kind of overselling the role.
Right. But his wife Naomi just had her last match at TNA.
Good point.
Their brother, Jacob or Fatu, whatever his name is, he's done with his organization. They're both out there. So I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not, but if you get Reigns out of the picture, you got.
Well, if you do that,
you start bringing in more and you build it right back up again.
Well, you do that. You got to get a new head of the table, which The Rock wins, and then he either just gives it to somebody, or they have a chamber or whatever.
Right.
Let's just say.
Well, Reigns already said Sikoa was next, but.
Right. Jay don't really believe in that, but the thing, let's just say they do that. It's a perfect lineup for Judgment Day. They got Rhea Ripley, and they got 4 guys. And then they'll have Naomi, and then they'll have 4 guys. It's a perfect setup. Do they do that, or do they keep them separate?
Well, they probably should do something, because they're about to burn Judgment Day to the ground, because they're just not doing anything with them right now.
No, they aren't.
They're making them like a little bit of a comedy act half the time.
And they are true things. Just turn the TV off when it comes on.
That's the thing. They've got people that have come in that they've brought in,
right?
But they're not doing anything with it yet.
Well, okay, I got us off topic there for a second. I flew into the Judgment Day rule. I do that every now and then. So if you've got Orton and Knight and AJ and Roman in a fatal 4-way at the Rumble,
Orton wins that.
So none of those 4 are going to compete in the Rumble?
I don't think so. I haven't heard any of them, quote, put themselves in the Rumble.
Yeah, coming back in. They'd have to have the title match and then do the Rumble if they want to come in, and be a special or whatever.
I don't think so.
Jump somebody in the back and do an old style jump somebody in the back and.
If they take the title off Reigns, it's got to be Orton. They're not going to give it to Styles. They're not going to give it to LA Knight. Those stories don't work.
No. Well, Orton. He's so good.
Orton's got the only story that
He's
works.
still good.
Sure he is.
You know, you put Orton in there, then you can get Cody to go after Orton for obvious reasons, which is a decent storyline to go in, where Cody can. But do they only let Orton hold it for 4 months?
But do you right, because Cody or Punk will win the Rumble. It's one of the two.
Obviously, it's going to be one of those two. But see, even if Punk wins. And he challenges. Well, let's say
go after Rollins.
Well, but, I don't know. Do you think they'll let Punk go get Roman Reigns?
No.
Or is the Reigns thing locked up?
I think the Reigns thing is locked up. I think it's got to be Orton. They're not going to give the title to The Rock.
No.
He's got his is only a 1 or 2. I'm sure his is just a 1 or 2 match appearance, and that's all he's going to get.
Sure. That's all he needs to. I mean, he's good.
Yeah, that's here just to boost the ratings and to do the whole thing, and maybe put a little bit of closure on the.
Yeah.
On Reigns' deal. I'm sure that's part of the deal that Roman and him both wanted. Give it some closure so he can actually step away, get healthy.
Yeah, but he always wants to have closure. But they always talk about him passing the torch on. I mean, wouldn't he want to pass it on to Roman? But he can if Roman's still fighting the leukemia stuff. Which there's no other reason he's only had 9 matches in 2023. There's no other reason. You know, this past Friday. You know, or whenever they came out and they cleared the ring, or 2 weeks or whatever it was, he looked good.
Yeah, and it's those little spurts, and he may be fine. I mean, he's got to be cleared enough to wrestle.
Right.
But man,
I think the only way that he gets out of there would not lose face is if it's in a fatal 4-way like they got it set up and Orton pins AJ Styles.
Yeah, Orton. I think Orton pins LA Knight.
Well, whichever way it goes. So he pins one of those guys, the title changes, Reigns doesn't lose it. Whenever he does come back, he can bitch, gripe, and complain. I didn't lose it to anybody, whatever. That's a great setup if they come off and do it that way.
I think The Rock will be there.
At the Rumble?
I think he'll show up at the Rumble. I just don't know. I mean, there's 2 premium live events before then.
Yeah.
But you've got to, if you're going to build it, you got to have him do something. He's not going to show up at every Raw and every SmackDown and do something.
No.
The Rock's got too much going on.
No, right now.
So
he's got to show up and he's got to put something in there.
That's my point. But what is it? He's just going to show up, cause a distraction. Is he going to?
I think the best. Well, if I was writing, and if you need another writer, I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this stuff my entire life. I've been writing stuff since the 1980s. Nobody listens to me, but I've been writing it since the 1980s. The best thing I think this is a perfect opportunity to be in the Rumble, where chaos always ensues. And you get Jimmy and Solo to come out, and then maybe Jay comes out and starts spatting with them.
They need to do something with Jay.
He's really
drove him off the planet.
Starting to bother me. He's just sitting over there doing nothing.
Yeah, they just flat pushed him out.
And then The Rock comes out, and okay, how about this? Solo and Jimmy come out to help Roman. Jay comes out to kind of get in the middle of that to make them stop helping Roman. Somehow, somewhere, some way, during all the chaos, Roman's fighting with them or fighting with Jay or Jimmy or whoever the case may be. Orton pins LA Knight. Orton's the champ. Then we have a little fight going on in the ring between Roman, Solo, Jimmy, and Jay. Let's say Solo and Roman piss off Jimmy, and Jimmy and Jay start teaming up against them. And they start fighting in the middle of the ring. And then The Rock comes out and settles it all down and says, hey, blah, 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 do this, do this, do this. Then we go to the Elimination Chamber to figure out who's going to be the head of the table.
It's a big stretch with him.
It's a huge stretch.
With Jimmy and Jay just throwing them right back together again.
Well, they got to do some of the tag teams. I'm really, really tired of I'm tired of them just walking around holding 2 belts and not doing anything.
I figure that's going to split here before too long. They're building up these Creed brothers they're going to end up getting something.
Yeah, I mean they're good.
Sure they are.
They're not
good.
I don't think
they are your true wrestlers and technician guys, and they can't talk.
No, if you're going to do that, you got to be Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
because Chad Gable tried.
Yeah.
To be that guy, and he turned into another slapstick guy.
No, this week they should start turning that corner this week.
They should.
Rumble's in 2 weeks.
Should.
Stories should start to
Well, I mean, you got to get
take place.
You got to get Cody away from Nakamura. You got to get him out.
I'm thinking that's why they did what they did. I'm thinking that was like the final chapter.
Right.
Beat him clean, got it done.
It's over.
Get that over with.
Let's move on. And now he's going to come out and say, I'm going to win the Rumble, and Punk's going to come out and say, no, I'm going to win the Rumble.
Right, which they did that already to each other.
Right, and we'll probably have to do it again a couple more times. Because we don't do the episodic shows anymore like they used to back in our time. Whenever they stopped, a bunch of jobbers would wrestle, and everybody would do a great interview, and then the last match of the night's a good one, and it goes off the air while it's not completed.
Sure.
And because back in the day, you'd never have two top line guys play. They'd all wrestle jobbers, and so you'd never see the top line guys unless you go pay to see the event. Nowadays, with the internet and everywhere they go, if they stop in Oklahoma City and then Dallas and then Wichita and then Joplin, everybody's going to want to see Cody Rhodes in a top line match, and it's going to be on TV.
And everybody expects it.
Yes,
and so everybody sees it.
It's hard to continue the stories with what they. I mean, I understand the difficulty, but. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play it, but they need to do something, because usually whenever you're building up to the Rumble, you've got some serious stuff going down. There's just nothing going down.
They have nothing going down on either show, really. I mean, it's the same stuff they've been. I say they got nothing going down. They got nothing going down new. It's everything that's been going on for the past month or two.
Right.
And the wrestling world it's hit that time that things are changing, things are switching, people are switching.
Well, it is. I mean, AEW they're trying. I mean, I'll let everybody know out there. We didn't talk about this last week. I'm not a huge AEW guy. I was never a big TNA guy back in the day. Whenever Dixie Carter had brought over Bischoff, they brought over Hogan. It was just it was the NWO all over again. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch it. Because they were rehashing the same stuff over and over and over. And when AEW, Tony Khan comes in and he starts spending all this money, he does the same thing that Bischoff and Ted Turner did. Starts bringing over all the same guys, rehashing the old stories. I just didn't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
You watch a lot of AEW.
Oh, I try to. There are some that 30 minutes in and I.
Well, I mean, you put me on to MJF.
Mm-hmm. He's a good throwback guy.
Wow.
Good throwback guy. Wow. Awesome on the mic.
I don't like the way they recently turned him into a face. I mean,
he's a much better heel.
He's so good.
Much better heel.
He's so good.
But they had to do something with Adam Cole because Adam Cole was having the same problem that The Rock had early on in his. The fans weren't really, they were buying it, but they weren't really buying the goody storyline.
Yes.
So Cole is also another guy. He's better as a bad guy.
He always was. And the big devil thing comes out, and and it's Adam Cole.
A waste of time.
As if we didn't know it wasn't going to be Adam Cole. Now, of course, he's and this is where my big problem comes with AEW. I'm looking up here at the TV screen to see us, but you're actually down here on the camera. I'll get used to that. This is just our second episode. So if I'm looking up here, it's because I'm not looking.
Right.
Too many factions.
They do have a lot.
Too many.
And see, I like the old school faction type thing, but
I do too.
But yeah, it's gotten to be a little bit of overkill now, because you can probably not take more than probably 8 guys that are in that organization that are not part of some group.
I know, and that's what was confusing to me when I first started watching AEW. Whenever you finally said, "Shut up, watch it, just
a little bit,
shut up," and so I did, But every time I turn it on, they got 2 different programs now.
They got 3.
They got 3. Which ones?
Thursday, Thursday, Saturday.
Tuesday. I don't watch the Saturday one.
Yeah.
I don't even have that recorded.
Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
But anyway,
they got 3. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
You really need to get your stuff.
No.
If you're going to argue,
this is how it goes every night.
You really have to have, But anyway, I turn it on, and all of a sudden, Jericho's got 6 guys in the ring with him, and then the week after that, he's got 3 new guys, and these 2 guys aren't there anymore, but they're coming down the ramp, and lo and behold, they've got 2 more guys. It just got so convoluted, I couldn't follow it.
AEW is heavy duty into. I kind of compare it a little bit to the old World Class, to where they have factions, but they do tons of 6-man tags. They do tons of tag titles, and they just throw people together. They just
that was something else that got me. And you've got a little bit better hold on this. There's so many title belts.
Yeah,
I can't.
but they just condensed three of them. You know, that's what Kingston won. He won the Triple Crown, which is a couple. Anyway, he's got three. They did the old Japanese style Triple Crown winner, so they hold 3 belts.
So Kingston's back. He's with them full time now.
Yeah, he's with them full time. Yeah, he signed AEW full time. That's why, and he won that whole tournament. And my problem with them is they got talent there. They've got Moxley. They got a ton of guys who are good.
Oh, but every time Moxley wrestles, he bleeds, and everybody's
and he's become this deathmatch guy.
Right. He's the new Mick Foley.
They put that. What do they call Blackpool Combat Club, which was a great story when it first started. Him and Danielson and Yuta and Cesaro.
Cesaro, Castanelli.
Yeah, which is great.
Sure.
And now they still mention it, but they're not ever together hardly anymore.
Right.
But they've really got some Eddie Kingston. He's another one that he's got that old Japan style hardcore stuff, which is not bad, but he's hard to be real believable in some situations.
Right.
But they bringing in talent. They got a bunch of the young guys, which has been their whole spiel forever. Bring the young guys in.
Sure, and some of the young guys, I mean, they're athletic as hell. I mean, right. but it was way too much circus actors for me. I think everybody's flying here and flying there and jumping over here.
And they've calmed that down a little bit because they were bringing in, all these 135-pound guys that would do 47 off the top rope kind of moves. And it really wasn't. There was no story. There was no match. There was no. Well, let's throw them together and let's have this.
Right. I've always been an NWA guy from the beginning, and then whenever they went to WCW, and I've always, but whenever it started getting out of control, when Bischoff took over. Yeah. And they would always try to give us a taste of the luchador type matches at the very beginning of every show. Mm-hmm. I've seen it,
and the stuff these guys do today is crazy and athletic as hell
and dangerous.
But look at just this past weekend, or what was it? Friday night.
Yeah, Theory and it was bad.
It hurt.
I mean, they both landed on their necks. I mean, it was.
They were out cold.
I know they want to do these things to make it, more believable or more whatever. But I'm still a storyline guy. Mm-hmm. Give me a good story. Give me the Bloodline sitting in the locker room talking smack about each other. Give me Paul Heyman sitting back there doing Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. And those are good storylines. And then you have the match to move it on. And the storylines are being lost. And it's
bad.
And it's just not.
They're replacing a lot of the storylines with just pure athletic ability, and that's old guy talk. I prefer the older style. There's a lot of them today that just want the athletic triple moonsaults off the top rope into the table and all that stuff. And it's all fine and good. It's got its place. But
I don't dig it. I can't watch too much of it because we just lose. It just. I don't know. When you start doing that, they start telegraphing the moves, and then you lose the storyline, and then you lose the authenticity, or you know what I mean.
Which is my problem with the women's matches nowadays.
I was going to ask you about the women.
There's 2 or 3 of them that are just awesome. Rhea Ripley is great.
Yes.
Bianca Belair does a good job. Yes. There's a couple over in AEW that do a good job.
I still think if they just let Io Sky go, she would be incredible.
She's good.
She does some things. Mm-hmm. The way she does some of the things that she does is just so easy. And, she's just so fluent.
Right. And Toni Storm over in AEW.
Yeah. Hey, what? I meant to ask you. What have you heard on? Where's Jade?
She's still at NXT. He hasn't. She's still down there. She's not doing anything. Or should I say NXT? She's in the training facility. There was a story came out a couple weeks ago. They interviewed Triple H about it, and he said that, when she was ready, she still had more training to do and getting her prepped. I'm assuming she's going to be at the Rumble.
Oh, she's got to be. It's got to be.
It's got to be one of their surprise entrances.
Yeah, they're gonna put her in there. That's got to be what they're gonna do with her.
That wouldn't surprise me if they threw her in the Rumble and she won it.
I mean, why? Well, yeah, because she can go after Ripley. She's one of the few that's big enough to go against Ripley.
She can compete against Ripley.
You know, Ripley's so good. She's starting to. It's starting to float me back to the China days. Whenever you know, China was
believable.
Well, China was the. I mean, nobody could beat her.
No.
I mean, if you want to play the reality game of the show
to make it look realistic,
you know, nobody can beat her. You know, and with Ripley, she, you know, bless her heart, she goes out there with some of these people that are so small in comparison. You know, she's not just this big, you know, Amazon type woman who goes out there and just, you know, demolishes people. You know, whoever.
She's good.
The Samoan chick, what's her name?
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. You know, she goes out and just throws people around the ring. Okay, and I don't
hurts people.
Yeah, I don't like her at all because she can't talk. She can't do microphone work. She can't do anything but run and jump on people and go. You know, with Rhea Ripley, she's huge. She's big. She's strong. She's athletic. She's agile. She's
believable.
She's
extremely believable.
And see, Raquel Rodriguez was good for a while, but the more until she got hurt again, the more she started telegraphing her moves way too much for me. But boy, she was at the level.
She was one of those
to a certain point of Rhea, but Rhea's just
it looked believable.
She's just so
you could actually believe that story.
I mean, she's just so much better than everybody else on the roster right now. She just is.
Yeah. So they've got to.
I don't see how they're going to get the belt off of her unless it's JJ.
It's got to be Cargill. It's got to be a.
But if she comes,
it's got to be a triple threat situation. It's got to be. Yeah. It's got to be something. I don't know who you throw in there to let them beat her clean.
Well, I
to
mean,
to be realistic.
But if you do, I mean, it's a mistake. I mean, she's just that good. So
and all this talk makes me think we went to go see Iron Claw.
Yes, we did.
Went to go see that movie.
What'd you think?
The Von Erich
we did. We purposely went and saw it together, and we purposely didn't talk to each other afterwards. So
well, I made
for it.
I made the jokes. Not exactly the feel good movie of the year.
No.
Man, any of you that know the story of the Von Erich story. I mean, I grew up right in the midst of it. They were one of the reasons I got into watching it so heavy, is because of the stories they would tell. And but to see the my goodness, just the harsh realities and
let's start
tragedy.
With Zac Efron, he did such a good job of the Kevin Von Erich role. Such a good job. It was believable. It was, and the director, I will give him mega props on the fact that they didn't do much in-ring action.
No, there wasn't a ton of wrestling.
There's very little wrestling in it,
Yes.
which made it okay for me because it was more. They really tried to focus on the story of the family, and wrestling was just the profession they happened to be in.
How much of a jackass the dad was.
I mean, the actor that played Fritz, I forget his name off the top of my head. I liked him.
Did a great job.
I liked him in the
very believable
on the Netflix series, the Mindhunter. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's great. He was really good in that, and he's really good in this. All in all, if you're going 1 out of 10, I mean, I give it a strong 7. Maybe
I was going to say 8. Yeah,
because it was, you know, like
you don't even have to be a wrestling fan to get in and to enjoy this movie. You don't let anybody tell you anything different.
No,
it's a story of a wrestling family, but it is a.
But don't go thinking you're going to leave smiling.
No,
I mean anybody that was part of the wrestling era at that time, watching it or being a part of it or enjoying it. You're going to cry. If you don't cry, you really weren't part of it. I cried 2 or 3 times, even though I knew what was coming. Most biopics you watch,
you know basically what's going to happen.
What's going to happen, but you don't know
to see it put into the story and put into the things that they were going through and the things that it's just
right.
Anybody who goes through the whole thing, wrestling is quote fake. I get it. It's scripted, but the things these guys go through and have to put their bodies through and have to just put their families and everybody through. It's a great movie.
Well,
I recommend
and
anybody
it
to watch
explains some of the backdrop, the politics that goes into professional wrestling. It was a lot worse back then than it is today.
Sure.
With all the territories and
Right.
whatnot, but
them just picking who's going to be a champion, picking who's going to do what.
Having to be, it was just done really, really well. It was. I mean, you can nitpick it to death. Any biography that you watch or that's based on real life events, you can nitpick it all you want. I mean, I can sit here and say the Kerry Von Erich character was not near as big as he needed to be. He didn't look right. He was just too small because he was always bigger than Kevin. In the movie, he's smaller than Kevin.
But I think he did a good job portraying the character.
Portraying the character,
really,
he was really good.
It was
I thought they would get further into the abuse, but they didn't.
No, I think that was. I don't know. That was probably on purpose. They didn't dive too far into his drug abuse. You saw it. You saw a couple of instances they didn't really dive into it. No. You saw a couple of times when he was doing drugs.
They talked about the alcohol a little bit. They talked, then they showed a couple of clips of some drug abuse. And, the story was told.
I'm glad they didn't go down that path with David, because there was always that talk of, well, maybe he was into it, but they portrayed it for what I've always heard the story was, the intestinal issue.
Sure, the intestinal issue.
It's just
and
the kid they had playing Mike,
way too big,
was too big of a kid, but played it so well. He was so timid. So you could tell he was the weaker of the group.
But there again, the nitpicky. He was too big to be. He was too big to be that timid because they kept saying, they kept trying to make us believe during the movie that he's this little weak kid who's really going to try to have to work harder to be big. Hell, he was bigger than Kevin in the movie, and he was a lot smaller than Kevin in real life. But I mean, they portrayed them very well. The story was done very well. It was done very gracefully. It was done very thoughtfully, I guess.
It was just a legitimately good movie.
Yeah, if you know the world class stuff and the world class history and the world class story, it'll be worth a watch. It's not a date movie. Don't if you're taking a girlfriend out, don't. It pulls at you. I mean, it's nonstop. It's go go go. I mean, it starts off at the beginning.
It's not. It's not slow.
No, there's no dead time in that movie.
But you're probably 30, 40 minutes in before tragedies and stuff start happening.
Yeah,
and it's all the way to the very end.
It's a good. Well, the movie's 2 hours and a few minutes long, and there's probably an hour and a half of tragedy.
It's not an uplifting movie whatsoever.
Just watching it spiral down and go, and like I say, Zac Efron played a great. He depicted it so well and very believable. Very. They got a hold of your heart and they twisted it around a little bit. So it was done very tastefully.
It's just hard to believe that all this stuff could happen to one family.
It's done very well. So if you want to go see it as a wrestling fan, go see it. I would suggest you go see it,
even if you're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and if
you don't have to know anything about it.
But the story itself is a good story, and you don't need to be a fan. I mean, just the story of what this poor family went through their entire lives and all the loss, and still kept going. Because
he had, and they didn't even cover one of the brothers that killed himself. There was still another one.
Yeah,
and they were doing an interview with Kevin, and he put that part in the movie where he's got his own kids, and hard thinking that I had 5 brothers and now I don't. Now I'm not even a brother. It's just things like that just. It's a wicked movie.
It's good.
You need to see it.
It was good. So. Well, all right. Covered a little bit this week. Got anything else?
I don't think so. We got more playoff football.
Playoff football. How's Cowboys doing?
Let's see. They actually scored. So.
Hey, 27-10 with 8 minutes to go.
And
so
Green Bay's about to score again. Go Dak Prescott.
Oh my gosh. Well, so like I say, we got the playoffs going to finish up this week, and college football is over.
It's over, but the coaching carousel is going to continue. Florida, we didn't cover. Florida State got themselves in trouble.
What was that? I kind of read a little bit. I mean, they're already breaking the NIL rules?
Somebody actually went in and broke NIL rules. Here's your freedom to go cheat, and now you screw that up too.
Why do I don't understand that.
It was something about the I don't know all the NIL else. So the collaborative that they use, they can't really be in cahoots with the colleges. The colleges, quote, know what's going on, but they can't be a part of it.
Okay, who can't?
The collectives that put these NIL deals together. They can't be a part,
But the collectives are what, businessmen?
Yeah, boosters,
boosters,
supporters, whatever.
So,
put together
businesses and boosters and supporters can go put these NIL deals to give somebody money to be on their box of cereal or whatever the case may be, or on a TV commercial. Right. But
the program, the schools cannot be involved, and they can't, quote, know about it, or the schools can't be involved in pushing people that way, and the coaches can't push them that way. And from what I understand. And so Florida State's then gone and screwed that up too, giving the NCAA something else to do with their time.
They just look for reasons to. We talked about it a little bit last time we were here. Mm-hmm. We talked about a little bit of will the NCAA ever go away? And this is just one more nail in the coffin of saying you have to have a governing body to suspend people for cheating or stealing signs, or suspend people for whatever the case may be. But I mean, how long before the SEC is just the SEC and the Big Ten is just the Big Ten, and how long before it all breaks up, and then you have like your NFC and your AFC, and actually it's your Big Ten and your SEC and your ACC and
all their own
and
governing
your Big 12,
bodies,
your own governing bodies, and you take your 4 champions, and you guys just go play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope it don't come to that, but the NCAA, I don't know what they're going to do, but I just go back to you've gotten this carte blanche of just go do what you want to do, pay the players, do whatever, just don't screw that up. And they've gone and they screwed that up.
Well, they screwed it up because they think they need to have their hands in everything. They think they need to every university, and it's big money, man. It's big money. If they want to pay their coach $10 million a year, they got to find a way to get it.
Right.
They got to find a way to get the $10 million.
Come on.
I mean, it's getting so confusing that it's hard to follow.
Yeah,
it's hard to follow who's cheating, and is that really cheating, or is that just kind of cheating?
Or is that just under the radar?
Or is that okay to do as long as can I do it as long as it's under $100,000, or just have to be over? And it's starting to the nitpickiness of the whole thing is just it's out of control.
And that's why some of these players are sticking around. I mean, like Bowman, he's coming back for his 5th or 6th year. Casey Thompson's coming back for his 7th year.
And how do you do that?
He's going to OU.
How do you do that? How do you get 7 years? I know COVID's got something to do with one of them, and that's fine.
There's a redshirt year, there's a COVID year, and a medical redshirt. 3 that he got. He went back to OU, and he's going to. And I said, more power to the guy. I mean, he's going to sit on the bench. He'll be a good backup. But this is his 7th year of college football because he knows he's not going to go pro.
So why not play another year?
Another year?
We'll suit up another year. You may not get to play.
He may make him. I don't know, but I'm sure there's NIL involved, and he may make $1 million for sitting the bench this year and backing up Jackson Arnold.
Well, in Oklahoma City, he can.
Yeah,
I mean his daddy's so big here. I mean he can make a little.
The name alone is going to bring in money for the guy.
Well, I mean, but then again, he may be one of those. He may be one of those special third down and fourth plays. You put him in a quarterback, and you do the deep snap, and he can run or throw. Why not?
I mean. Face facts here, Jackson Arnold could be a stud, but his first appearance didn't look overwhelmingly great. So, you bring in a guy with experience. If Arnold struggles on the game,
well, sure, but did Arnold get enough practice time with the guys that played? I mean, a lot of OU's guys didn't play either in the bowl game.
No, they didn't have 4 of their 5 starting linemen.
No, I look back at all the bowl games this year. You did too. You saw how many people didn't play them. I mean, I think they're going to stop. I think they're done. I think they're the big bowl games. I mean, now that you got the 12 team playoff, you're going to have. I think all of those will eventually, become bowl games. I don't think they're going to this home and home crap. I'm not so sure they're going to do it.
No, I think it's got to stay the bowl games.
I think if you make those the bowl games where it's a neutral site, even you're the higher ranked team, you get to wear the home uniforms, blah blah blah. But if you're better than this team at home, you're better than this team on the road. And I just think every playoff game needs to be a neutral site. And so I think there's going to be your bowl games, but all these other bowl games, I think nobody cares. I mean, when you got teams like New Mexico State going to a bowl game who is 6-6 and some of their kids don't play, why?
Who cares? Yeah.
Why
wouldn't you play?
I'm going to sit out, because I think I might go in,
If you're going to do the combines,
in the
it's only
15th,
for those
15th
guys.
round of the NFL draft. I mean, do they have 15 rounds in?
I don't know.
But
After the first three, I don't know.
I'm going to go. I think I'll still get drafted, or at least be a walk on. But now you got the UFL coming into play, which that's going to give another place for a lot of these kids to play professional football. They'll still get paid to play,
Sure,
and they'll basically be the minor leagues for the big guys, which I think is fantastic. It gives these kids another place to play. So how many more are now not going to play in a bowl game because they may not make the NFL roster, but if they go to the UFL, still get a paycheck, still play football, just in case because the NFL scouts are going to watch every one of those games.
Sure,
they're going to watch every single one of those football games.
They're still coming up. They're still got shots at playing the pros.
Well, I mean, how many teams is there going to be in there? It's 12?
I think there's 12. Because there's 6 from the USFL and 6 from the XFL.
So I mean, you're gonna have 12 or maybe 14. I
think it's 12.
But I mean, you got 12 teams there, probably gonna have 40-man rosters. You're still looking at 400 guys going to be playing football. Mm-hmm. Plus, they're going to have travel squads as well, practice squads. So you're still looking at probably 600-700 kids that are still going to be playing football that the NFL scouts are going to watch. Because if your kicker's not doing very well, let's get that guy right over there. Mm-hmm. We'll pay him $100,000. We'll
bring him on our practice squad.
We'll pay him $500,000 more than he's making down there in the little league. We'll let him play up here. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
and it's more football.
Not to. But with the playoff expansion, then if it's going to 12 teams, you at least got 12 teams there that these guys won't be splitting on. They won't be, opting out and getting ready for comments because they still got a shot at the national championship.
Well, I mean,
I like that part.
Yeah, and that's why I think the bowl games need to go to these games because that gives you 4 first-round playoff games in bowl games. Then it gives you 4 second-round games for bowl games. That's 8 games right there. Then you got your semis. Then you got your final. I mean, you can. The bowl games they'll make money. Every one of them's a playoff game.
Oh, sure.
Even though your group of 5 still is going to have to play in Oregon or Wisconsin or whoever they end up playing. I mean,
that's part of the deal.
You're still going to sell tickets.
Sure.
So it gives the kids another chance to travel. But do they want to travel? Brings me back to what we talked about last time. With the SEC, they're playing 3 or 4 non-conference games, and then you got to think at least 2, if not 3, SEC teams will be in the 12-team playoff. So now they're going to be playing 4 non-conference games to give them 13 games now or 12? 12 games.
12 games.
And then you're going to play a first-round game, travel, second-round game, travel. If you make it, you're going to the semifinals, travel. Then you're looking at possibly another 4. I mean, you're talking some of these teams are going to play 17, 18 games. Mm-hmm. When are they going to get to study? When are they get to
study for what?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. And it just makes you wonder when's that going to turn into a minor league. You got the UFL, which is now your AAA baseball. When the colleges are basically your AA baseball. So I don't know. But baseball's starting here pretty soon. We can start checking some
February.
See how many more people the Dodgers can sign. And
there's more leagues over in Japan and
the
Korea.
Cubs went and got them a pitcher.
Did they?
Darn it, got him a Japanese pitcher.
There you go. Everybody needs one.
I don't know his name, but
he's
good. I looked him up, and from what they do over there, he did pretty well. So he's pretty good.
Unfortunately, it's the new like the Dominican was there for the longest time. It was the power line into the pros, and some of them are now starting to see it, and so now they're coming over.
That's true.
And
when they're giving money away, why wouldn't you?
I say it is what it is.
Yeah.
Go after the money, you get the money.
That's right. But anyway, if you have anything else, you got anything else at all?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Okay.
I know next time we're going to need to cover a little bit of NBA basketball, just because where we're at, the Thunder, the Thunder are really doing well. Fun to watch. I say college football's done, so we're going to be going. What do you think? Pro football and
we're doing
NBA
playoffs.
and
We'll get the playoffs going on. We'll get some deep into some of the NBA. Start looking at some baseball spring training kicking off too pretty soon. College basketball, college hoops is going on. It's top 4 teams losing 1 week or 5 teams. Hell, I don't know how many top 10 lost.
4.
But then again, what you're looking at is, we're on the. We'll get into it next time. But you're talking about kids playing 1 year, not getting real
1, 2 years.
1, 2 years.
The ones who aren't that good playing your 2 or 3 years, but there again, they've got their portals just as bad, if not worse, than football, just because there's only 9, 10, 11 kids on a team. So you get 3 of the transfer out, you got a whole new starting lineup.
That's true.
Uh,
So we'll get into some college basketball too next time. So appreciate you watching. Again, like, support. What do you know?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. That's the word.
Support. You can give us money if you want, but subscribe.
Your
is
athletic
all that's needed.
supporters. How about that?
Just
I like
subscribe.
that. I do. I can throw that in.
Just subscribe.
Subscribe, like, give us some comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. We'll certainly throw your topics out here and kick them around a little
For
bit.
those of y'all who did subscribe already and comment, thank you very much.
Yes, exactly.
Put the
I
word
like
out
seeing that
there.
kind of stuff.
Put the word out there. I know I had a couple of former players of mine that I coached the
I saw
stuff
that.
out there, so appreciate that, guys.
Very
Keep
cool.
it coming.
I
Get
haven't had
everybody
any
else
coaches
involved.
get on here that yell at me to get my referee or anything. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
Sure they will once they figure out where you're at.
That's true. All right, but anyway, appreciate you coming in. We will see you next time. And subscribe, like, pass the word, and we'll see you next time, Chuck.
Thank you.